The woman rubbing her silk-clad leg against mine under the heavy mahogany table is currently whispering into her phone that she cannot wait to watch me choke on my own blood. I know this because beneath the thick waves of my hair, a micro Bluetooth earpiece is playing a live, synchronized stream of her encrypted audio messages. My wife, Sienna, is holding her phone beneath the heavy linen tablecloth of the Grand Carlisle Dining Club, routing her breathy voice notes directly to Julian, a flashy startup investment fund director who also happens to be my sister-in-law's husband. To the rest of my family gathered around this lavish table, Sienna and I are the absolute picture of modern Manhattan success. I am Caleb, a 32-year-old senior financial risk analyst who manages multi-billion-dollar portfolios. To them, I am just a dry, boring spreadsheet drone. Sienna is 28, a prominent lifestyle influencer who treats every room she enters like her own personal film set. She is currently smiling warmly at her parents, Arthur and Eleanor, while her hand slides up my thigh in a show of perfect, devoted affection. "I am looking at him right now, baby." Sienna's low whisper crackles in my earbud. "He has absolutely no idea. Just a few more days until the ice climbing trip to Mount Rainier. Then it will be just you and me. Forever." I sip my sparkling water. The liquid feels like liquid ice sliding down my throat, but my face remains a mask of polite, calm indifference. I do not flinch. I do not tense my jaw. My professional training is built on identifying catastrophic liabilities and neutralizing them before they can destroy a portfolio. Right now, the liability sitting across from me is my own wife, and the threat is sitting right next to her. "Do you want to share the roasted asparagus, honey?" Sienna asks, turning her dazzling, photogenic smile toward me. Her eyes are completely bright, radiating a manufactured warmth that most people would mistake for genuine love. "That sounds perfect, sweetheart," I reply, my voice smooth, matching her fake affection note for note. The contrast between her sweet, accommodating tone and the lethal promise echoing in my earpiece is staggering. Exactly 24 hours ago, I was packing my thermal climbing gear, genuinely excited for our romantic mountain getaway. But then I visited my grandmother, Evelyn. She is the only person in this superficial family who has ever truly cared for me. She is a sharp-witted, retired estate planner who spent 80 years noticing the details everyone else missed. Yesterday, she pulled me into the dim light of her hallway, her frail fingers digging into my forearm with terrifying strength. She looked me dead in the eye and whispered, "Do not go on that mountain trip, Caleb. You will not return alive. They are playing you for a fool. Before you cancel a single reservation, do exactly one thing. Sync her phone to your secure work tablet. Do it now." I did not hesitate. I trust Evelyn's intuition more than any market projection. While Sienna was in the shower last night, I took her phone. Using the advanced decryption tools I employ to audit fraudulent corporate accounts, I bypassed her security codes in less than 3 minutes. I linked her cloud backup directly to an encrypted hidden partition on my secure work tablet. What I found was not just evidence of a sordid affair. It was a meticulously documented execution plan. "Make sure he packs the heavy insulated boots," Julian's voice replies in my ear, a voice note sent straight back to Sienna. "We need the autopsy to show he simply lost traction on the sheer ice face near the summit. The local guides won't suspect a thing if the gear is heavy. I cannot wait to hold you, Sienna. I cannot wait until we never have to hide again." I dab my lips with a linen napkin, looking across the table at the rest of our dinner party. Sienna's sister, Chloe, is busy showing her mother, Eleanor, a new diamond bracelet. Beside Chloe sits her husband, Damien. He is a 30-year-old corporate defense attorney, brilliant, razor-sharp, and notoriously arrogant. Damien wears his bespoke Italian suits like armor, always ready to dominate any conversation with dense legal jargon. He is currently swirling his scotch, watching the room with a condescending smirk. Damien has no idea that his wife's sister is sleeping with Julian, nor does he know that Julian's investment fund is a hollow, collapsing shell. "Riley," my father-in-law Arthur says loudly, clearing his throat to demand absolute obedience from the table. "As you know, Julian is expanding his fund's European operations. He has unprecedented opportunities in Geneva, but liquidity is temporarily tight due to aggressive marketplace positioning. We all have to do our part for the family legacy." My mother-in-law Eleanor leans in, her eyes cold and demanding. "Your wife's family is building an empire, Caleb. Behind every great venture is a supportive partner willing to make temporary sacrifices. We expect you to do your part. I keep my expression entirely neutral. What kind of sacrifices are we talking about, Eleanor? Sienna plays the reluctant visionary, letting out a soft sigh. Caleb, I hate bringing business into a family dinner, but Julian needs a bridge loan just for 60 days. If we leverage our suburban estate, we can secure the necessary capital to finalize his acquisitions. Once the deal closes, he will pay off the mortgage immediately. It is completely risk-free. The sheer audacity is breathtaking. The sprawling suburban estate we live in was purchased entirely with the inheritance my grandmother Evelyn left me. The deed is solely in my name. Sienna wants me to mortgage my fully owned, debt-free home to inject cash into Julian's failing fund. They are trying to extract my equity to buy themselves enough time to execute my murder on Mount Rainier, knowing the massive life insurance payout will cover their tracks and pay off the mortgage before the bank can even process the default. Honestly, Caleb, Chloe rolls her eyes, letting out a theatrical sigh. Why are you even hesitating? It is just real estate. Julian is building generational wealth while you are running mental spreadsheets. You have zero entrepreneurial vision. You do not understand what it takes to build a legacy. I look at Chloe. She is wearing a designer dress paid for with stolen money from Julian's investors. She has no idea her husband is plotting to murder me so he can run away with her own sister. Then Damien steps into the fray. He reaches into his leather briefcase, slides a thick legal document across the mahogany table, and taps his expensive fountain pen against the first page. I drafted a preliminary collateral assignment framework, Damien says, his deep voice dripping with intimidating legal terminology designed to bulldoze me. By authorizing the encumbrance of the property deed, you allow Julian's corporate entity to act as the primary guarantor for a mezzanine loan. The fiduciary risk is mitigated by projected returns. It is a complete no-brainer, Caleb. Just sign the authorization page and I can get the underwriters moving tomorrow morning. The pressure at the table is immense. My parents-in-law are glaring at me, commanding me to obey. Sienna is squeezing my leg, playing the loving, supportive wife. Damien is watching me with an arrogant smirk, waiting for me to cave to his legal authority. But I am a financial risk analyst. I dissect complex predatory contracts for a living. I know exactly what this document says without even turning the page. It legally grants Julian total control over my primary asset, leaving me entirely liable when his fraudulent company inevitably defaults on the loan. I take a slow, deep breath, putting on a flawless mask of submissive hesitation. You are right, Damien, I say softly, looking down at my hands as if ashamed of my own caution. I am sorry for hesitating. I just get nervous about big financial moves. I want to support Julian's expansion, I really do. Sienna's face lights up with immediate triumph. Thank you, baby. I knew you would understand. Damien pushes the pen closer to me. Sign on the last page, initial the writers. Let's get this finalized. I reach for the pen, letting my hand tremble slightly for added effect. But then I pull back, looking at Damien with wide, innocent eyes. I absolutely will sign this, Damien, I say smoothly. But my grandmother's estate trust still holds a tiny fractional lien on the property from when she first transferred the deed to me. The trust requires a strict 48-hour clearing period before any new encumbrances can be legally filed. If I sign this right now, without notifying her trust officer, it will trigger an automatic freeze on the asset. Damien frowns, his legal mind quickly trying to process the lie I just invented. He hates being caught off guard by obscure trust laws. A fractional lien? Why did you never disclose that during our previous tax assessments? I shrug helplessly, playing the naive husband. It is just an old bureaucratic clause Evelyn insisted on. It is completely harmless, but highly annoying. Tell you what, Sienna and I fly out to Mount Rainier tomorrow night. I will call the trust officer first thing in the morning to clear the lien. When we get back from the trip next week, I will sign the papers at the bank and transfer the capital immediately. It will only delay things by a few days. Sienna looks incredibly anxious, her eyes darting toward her phone. But she clearly does not want to push too hard and raise my suspicions. She forces a warm smile, reaching over to squeeze my hand. A few days is fine, honey, she says tightly. Julian's deal will hold until we get back. Just promise me you will call the trust officer first thing in the morning. I look straight into the eyes of the woman who planned my execution, matching her fake warmth with a deadly calm. I promise you, Sienna, the very moment we return from this trip, everything will permanently change. Later that night, the transition from the clinking crystal of the dining club to the sterile silence of my home office was jarring. The dinner had ended with fake hugs and empty promises of a wonderful vacation. Sienna had kissed my cheek, completely unaware that the man she married was already gone, replaced by a ghost who knew exactly how he was supposed to die. Once we returned home and she finally fell asleep, I locked myself in the guest room. I pulled out the synced tablet and stared at the glowing screen. The audio files I had listened to at dinner were just the surface. The real horror was buried deep in her digital paper trail. Sienna thought she was a genius, hiding her tracks behind encrypted folders, assuming my quiet nature would prevent me from ever looking too closely. She underestimated my professional training. It took me less than 40 minutes to crack her secondary cloud backup. Inside was a folder labeled simply as Summit. There was a recently issued life insurance policy. The insured party was me. The effective date was exactly 3 months ago, perfectly coinciding with the day Sienna first suggested we take a romantic getaway to the Cascades. I scrolled down to the payout section. In the event of my accidental death, the policy would immediately disperse $6 million. My hands felt cold as I traced the routing information. Sienna had not listed herself as the direct beneficiary. She knew that an exorbitant life insurance payout to a surviving spouse after a tragic climbing accident would trigger a massive insurance fraud investigation. She needed the money to look clean. She had established a corporate beneficiary. The funds were directed to a limited liability company registered in Delaware. I ran the registration numbers through a secure corporate database I use for work. The company was a shell, a hollow entity designed solely to receive capital and immediately pass it through to a secondary holding company in the Cayman Islands. I meticulously followed the digital breadcrumbs, peeling back layer after layer of corporate camouflage. Finally, I hit the bottom of the rabbit hole. The ultimate destination of the $6 million was a blind trust. I bypassed the final layer of security to reveal the name of the trust administrator and the sole beneficiary. It was not Sienna. The sole beneficiary of my death was Julian. The full, terrifying scope of their plan clicked into place. Julian was going to ensure I had an accident on the mountain. He would remain legally distant from the money, avoiding all suspicion. Then, after an appropriate period of mourning, he and Sienna would quietly merge their lives, entirely funded by my execution. They had placed a $6 million price tag on my head. They had sat at family dinners, smiled in photographs, and toasted to my health while planning my funeral. I closed my eyes, letting the crushing weight of the truth wash over me. I allowed myself exactly 2 minutes to mourn the life I thought I had. I grieved the wife I thought loved me, and the family I thought, despite their flaws, at least saw me as human. When I opened my eyes, the sorrow was gone. In its place was a cold, surgical focus. If they wanted a financial transaction, I would give them one. To execute a murder plot this elaborate, there had to be a desperate catalyst. Julian was greedy, but murder required desperation. I needed to know why he needed $6 million so urgently. Why risk a federal investigation? I began downloading every document, every spreadsheet, and every email from Sienna's synced device. I copied everything onto a secure external drive. My eyes scanned Julian's private banking records, which Sienna had saved in her shared passwords. I saw erratic transfers, massive withdrawals, and desperate messages sent to unlisted numbers. Julian's startup fund was not just struggling, it was a sinking ship. But the details of his financial ruin would have to wait until the morning. Right now, I needed to secure my own survival. I quietly shut down the tablet and crept back into our master bedroom. Sienna was snoring softly, her arm draped across my side of the bed. I slipped under the covers, lying stiff and perfectly still beside the woman who intended to kill me in less than 48 hours. I listened to her rhythmic breathing, feeling nothing but a profound, chilling focus. They had crafted a flawless plan, but they had made one fatal miscalculation. They forgot that I evaluate risk for a living, and I had just identified them as the ultimate liability. The morning of the flight, I put my plan into motion. Sienna was in the bedroom, packing her heavy winter gear, actively preparing for my funeral. I stood in the bathroom, splashing hot water on my face to make my skin look flushed. I grab a digital thermometer, hold it under the hot tap water until the reading hits 103 degrees, and step out into the bedroom. I lean against the doorframe, coughing heavily, letting my knees buckle slightly. Sienna turns around, a pair of thick climbing boots in her hands, her smile dropping instantly. "Caleb, what is wrong?" I groan, clutching my chest, and stumble toward the bed. "I feel terrible, Sienna. My chest is burning, and I cannot stop shivering." I hand her the thermometer. She looks at the digital reading, and a flash of panic crosses her face. It is not the panic of a worried wife, but of a murderer whose schedule has suddenly derailed. "You have a fever of 103, she says, her voice tight and strained. "Have you taken any medicine? We have to get to the airport in 6 hours, Caleb. You can't be sick now." "I took a rapid test while you were packing." I cough weakly, pulling the blanket over my shoulders. "It is a severe viral infection. The doctor on the phone said I cannot fly. My oxygen levels are too low. We have to cancel the trip, Sienna. We can go next month." Sienna stands frozen in the center of the room. I can practically see the gears grinding in her head. The entire murder plot relies on me being on Mount Rainier with them. If I do not go, the payout vanishes, and the tight deadline they are running against will crush them. She forces a look of deep concern, feeling my forehead with her gloved hand. "You do feel really hot, baby, but maybe we can just delay the flight by a day? Give you some strong medication to push through it?" I shake my head weakly, burying my face in the pillow. "I can't, Sienna. I feel awful. You should go ahead without me. Didn't you say Julian had those critical investor meetings in Seattle before the climb? You should go represent the family. I will stay here, rest, and keep away from everyone so I don't spread the virus." Sienna stands up, her eyes darting to her phone. She frantically types a message to Julian under the cover of her sleeve. She paces back and forth, muttering about critical networking opportunities. "You are right, honey," she says, her voice tight with suppressed anger. "I shouldn't let Julian handle those high net worth investors alone. I will go ahead and handle the meetings. You stay here and rest. I will call you the moment I land." She leans down, being careful not to actually touch my face, and whispers that she loves me. She grabs her suitcase and rushes out the door. The moment I hear her luxury SUV start in the driveway and pull away, I throw off the blankets and spring out of bed. I am not sick. I am fully energized and ready for war. I rush to my home office and boot up my secure laptop. 2 days ago, while preparing for this exact scenario, I secretly installed a military-grade GPS tracker under the rear bumper of her vehicle. I open the tracking software and watch the blinking red dot move down our suburban street. She is supposed to be heading south toward JFK International Airport. I watch the screen intently, my heart pounding in a steady, calm rhythm. The dot hits the highway, but instead of taking the exit toward the airport, she takes a sudden, sharp turn north. I zoom in on the satellite map, verifying the exact address. She is driving straight toward Julian's secluded, multi-million-dollar estate in the Hamptons. My sister-in-law, Chloe, is currently in London on a corporate legal retreat. She is not scheduled to return until Monday evening. Julian is home alone, and now my wife has just parked her car inside his secure garage. The ultimate betrayal is now absolutely confirmed. Sienna is not going to Seattle. She is going to spend the weekend hiding out with her lover, brainstorming new ways to murder me and steal my estate while Chloe is thousands of miles away. I sit back in my ergonomic chair, the blue light of the monitor reflecting in my eyes. The shock has completely worn off, replaced by a cold, surgical focus. They think I am lying in bed, helpless and sick. They think they have time to regroup and strike again. They have absolutely no idea that I am watching their every move. The fake illness bought me the 48 hours I needed, and their real destination gave me the final piece of actionable evidence. I connect the cloned tablet to my secure server and begin systematically ripping through Julian's corporate infrastructure. I bypass the glossy presentations he shows his wealthy clients, diving straight into the foundational ledgers of his investment fund. The financial numbers are absolutely catastrophic. It takes me less than an hour to dismantle the complex financial illusion he has spent years building. Julian's highly touted startup fund is a textbook Ponzi scheme. He has been taking massive capital injections from new clients and secretly using that money to pay fake dividends to his early investors. But the influx of new money has completely dried up. The market shifted, making investors overly cautious, and his entire pyramid is currently collapsing inward. His corporate accounts are empty shells, holding nothing but fabricated balances and incoming default notices. But standard financial ruin is rarely enough to drive a man of his background to premeditated murder. I dig deeper into the hidden files, tracing a series of bizarre, undocumented cash transfers, leaving his primary accounts in the middle of the night. Using forensic data tracing tools, I follow the money through a labyrinth of encrypted routing numbers. The realization hits me with intense physical force. Julian has not just been stealing from wealthy doctors and corporate executives. To keep his Ponzi scheme afloat, he took out massive, high-interest loans from a violent underground debt collection syndicate. I uncover an unlisted messaging application buried deep within his phone data. The exchanges inside are brutal, filled with graphic threats and explicit deadlines. These loan sharks do not care about market fluctuations. They only care about getting paid. I find the ultimate ultimatum sent to Julian just a week ago. They have given him a final, non-negotiable deadline to repay a staggering $2.5 million. If he defaults, they promise to tear him apart piece by piece. This was the true catalyst for the sudden mountain trip. The $6 million life insurance payout from my staged accident was his desperate, bloody ticket to survival. He needed me dead to pay off the mob. I pivot my investigation toward my wife. I pull Sienna's banking statements, which I easily access using the same weak password she has predictably used since we were teenagers. The math is glaringly obvious. Julian has been actively siphoning stolen investor funds directly into her personal accounts using a complex web of fake consulting invoices. He has been entirely bankrolling her lavish influencer lifestyle using stolen money, digging his own grave deeper with every single luxury purchase she makes. They are not just plotting a murder, they are ruthless financial parasites, feeding off the innocent to maintain a fraudulent lifestyle. The pieces form a complete and horrifying picture. I spend the rest of the night meticulously downloading every single piece of evidence. I compile the fraudulent ledgers, the terrifying threat messages from the syndicate, and the illegal wire transfers proving her complicity. I transfer all the digital files onto 3 separate encrypted, tamper-proof drives. I am building a massive digital bomb designed to utterly obliterate their lives. I will strip away their wealth, their freedom, and their pristine public image, leaving them with absolutely nothing. The next phase of my retaliation requires neutralizing Damien's legal power. As a top corporate lawyer, Damien possesses the legal authority to complicate my asset transfers if he suspects foul play. I cannot simply tell him about the affair. His massive ego would reject the truth, and he would immediately warn Sienna. I need Damien to discover the ultimate betrayal on his own secure network, where he cannot deny the digital facts. I need to plant a bomb inside his legal fortress. I dress in a sharp charcoal suit, applying minimal makeup to maintain the appearance of an overworked, tired husband. I pack an encrypted USB drive containing my custom Trojan program and a dummy PDF file labeled as Revised Mortgage Documents. I drive downtown toward Damien's prestigious law firm. According to the litigation schedule I hacked, he is currently buried in back-to-back client meetings. This gives me a narrow window of opportunity. I take the express elevator to the 51st floor. The receptionist recognizes me instantly as family. I explain I have sensitive financial documents to leave on Damien's desk. She swipes her security card and allows me into his private corner office. The room is a monument to his towering arrogance, filled with expensive mahogany furniture and framed legal triumphs. The moment the heavy door closes, I spring into action. I sit in his leather chair and wake up his primary computer terminal, which he arrogantly left logged in. I quickly navigate his personal network drives, finding directories linked directly to Julian's corporate accounts. I am deeply engrossed in tracing a specific wire transfer when the heavy door suddenly swings open. I freeze, my heart hammering against my ribs. Damien walks in, rolling a sleek leather briefcase. He stops dead in his tracks, staring at me sitting behind his desk. The absolute shock on his face instantly morphs into dark hostility. "What the hell are you doing in my office, Caleb?" he demands, his voice booming with authority. I stand up quickly, forcing myself to look flustered and caught off guard. "Damien, I am so sorry," I say, my voice trembling slightly. "The receptionist let me in. I brought the mortgage revisions you wanted. I was just trying to find a secure folder to leave them on your desktop." Damien drops his briefcase and marches toward me, his eyes locking onto the computer screen. He sees the open financial directories linked to Julian. His jaw clenches, and his broad shoulders tense with pure outrage. Blinded by his arrogance and his protective view of his social circle, he jumps to the worst conclusion. "You are snooping through my firm's digital files, Caleb?" he growls, stepping incredibly close, attempting to intimidate me. You are actually sitting here digging through Julian's accounts. I knew you were jealous of his success, but this is unhinged. You are losing your mind. I take a step back, raising my hands defensively. Damien, please. I was just looking for a secure way to drop the mortgage documents. I did not mean to intrude. Cut the pathetic act, he sneers, towering over me. Sienna told us you have been acting erratic lately, asking weird questions and acting paranoid. Your marriage is falling apart because she is out there building a brand while you sit at home running mental spreadsheets. You resent Julian because he lives a beautiful, glamorous life, and you are desperately trying to find some dirt to ruin him. You are trying to drag my family down to your miserable level. I do not argue. I do not defend myself against his brutal insults. I simply look at the floor, playing the role of the broken, defeated man he expects me to be. I am sorry, Damien, I whisper softly. I have just been so overwhelmed with the bank loans. I am not thinking straight. You need help, Caleb, Damien states, his tone dripping with disdain. Let me make this crystal clear for you. If you ever try to snoop on Julian again, or attempt to spread any malicious rumors about my family, I will destroy you. I will file an immediate restraining order. I will use every legal weapon in my arsenal to freeze your personal assets under severe litigation clauses. I will make sure you spend the next 10 years drowning in crippling legal fees. Do you understand me? I nod, keeping my eyes fixed on the mahogany desk. I understand, Damien. I promise I will stay out of his business. He points a finger toward the door. Get out of my office. Leave the revised mortgage draft and get out before I call security. I reach into my leather bag and pull out the encrypted USB drive. My hand shakes perfectly as I place it on the polished wood surface. The PDF revisions are right there, I say quietly. I approve the collateral assignment clauses. You can review them, and I will sign the final papers at the bank tomorrow morning. Damien snatches the USB drive off the desk. He plugs it directly into his secure corporate server, pulling up the dummy PDF file. The moment the drive connects, my delayed action Trojan horse silently injects itself deep into the root directory of his network. The payload is successfully delivered, completely bypassing his expensive firewalls. He glances at the PDF, completely satisfied that he has dominated the situation and forced me into total submission. Good, he says without looking away from the screen. Now stop chasing ghosts, Caleb. Focus on saving your own failing marriage. I turn around and walk toward the door, my posture slumped in fake defeat. I step out into the hallway, and the heavy door clicks shut behind me. As I walk to the elevator, a cold, triumphant smile spreads across my face. Damien thinks he just protected his perfect family. He has absolutely no idea he just plugged a digital nuclear bomb directly into his own life. I slide into my car and head back to the suburbs. I need to be home and in character before Sienna returns from her fake weekend trip. When I pull into my driveway, the storm has cleared, leaving behind a crisp, chilling afternoon. I walk inside and immediately strip off my sharp charcoal suit, exchanging it for a pair of oversized sweatpants and a faded sweater. I mess up my hair and rub a damp towel under my eyes to simulate the lingering exhaustion of a severe illness. I settle onto the living room sofa, pulling a thick fleece blanket up to my chin. I do not have to wait long. Less than an hour later, the heavy front door swings open. Sienna walks in, dragging her sleek silver suitcase behind her. She lets out a loud, theatrical sigh, rubbing the back of her neck to project the image of a woman suffering from brutal jet lag. She spots me and instantly shifts into her performance. She drops to her knees beside the sofa. "Caleb, baby, I missed you so much," she murmurs, her voice dripping with manufactured exhaustion. "The meetings in Seattle were absolutely brutal, but we kept the investors engaged. How is your fever?" I sit perfectly still, breathing in the scent of her expensive perfume. It does not smell like crisp Pacific Northwest air or stale airplane cabins. It smells exactly like the boutique lavender fabric softener Julian obsessively uses in his Hamptons estate. The visceral nature of her lie takes every ounce of my professional willpower to ignore. I force a weak, loving smile, pulling the blanket tighter. "I am doing much better, Sienna. The rest really helped. I am so sorry I ruined our trip." Sienna waves her hand dismissively, her eyes already darting toward her phone. "Do not worry about the vacation, honey. We have the rest of our lives to travel. But right now, we urgently need to handle business." Damien sent me a message saying you dropped off the revised mortgage documents. We need to get to the bank tomorrow morning. Julian's deal is hanging by a literal thread, and if we do not inject that liquidity by noon tomorrow, he is going to lose everything. Her urgency is palpable, bleeding through her charming facade. The violent syndicate's deadline is approaching, and she is desperate to get her hands on the equity of my debt-free house since her initial murder plot failed to materialize. I look down at my hands, playing the hesitant, anxious husband. Sienna, I am just so scared. It is my entire safety net. Before she can launch into another manipulative pitch, my cell phone rings sharply on the coffee table. The caller ID flashes with her mother's name. Sienna nods encouragingly, urging me to answer. I tap the green button and put the phone to my ear. The moment the connection opens, Eleanor launches into a relentless, toxic tirade. My father-in-law, Arthur, is on speakerphone in the background, echoing her venom. Caleb, I absolutely cannot believe you made Sienna suffer through that critical business trip alone while you laid in bed playing sick, Eleanor snaps, her voice shrill and accusatory. You are incredibly selfish. Her sister's husband is building a massive financial empire, and you are acting like a pathetic hypochondriac. Arthur chimes in, his tone heavy with condescension. You are holding her back, Caleb. If you do not sign those bank papers tomorrow and support this family, we will wash our hands of you completely. You are lucky she even tolerates your presence. Do not ruin this for her. I hold the phone slightly away from my ear, letting their cruel words spill into the quiet living room. My own in-laws berating me, demanding I hand over my only tangible asset to a man who literally planned my execution. They call me a dry, boring spreadsheet drone who should be immensely grateful a beautiful woman like Sienna is married to me. I let a long, shaky breath escape my lips, squeezing my eyes shut to force a single dramatic tear down my cheek. I look up at Sienna, who is watching me with hungry, predatory anticipation. You are right, Eleanor, I whisper, my voice cracking perfectly. I am being selfish. I am just scared. But I know Julian knows what is best for our future. I will sign the papers. I hang up the phone and let it drop onto the sofa. I look at my wife, letting my tearful expression morph into total, absolute submission. I love you, Sienna, I say softly. I want you to have everything you need. Let's meet your parents and Damien at the bank tomorrow at 9 a.m. I will authorize the transfer. Sienna lets out a long, shuddering breath of profound relief. A genuine, triumphant smile breaks across her face. She leans forward, wrapping her arms around me, pulling me into a tight embrace. Thank you, baby, she whispers against my hair. You just saved our future. I promise you this is going to change our lives forever. I stare blankly over her shoulder at the bare living room wall. I simply let her hold me, knowing she is celebrating her own impending doom. Tomorrow morning is going to change our lives in ways she cannot possibly comprehend. I have successfully bought myself the final hours I need. The offshore accounts are fully established. The transfer protocols are locked and queued. The ultimate trap is meticulously set. The morning sun breaks through the heavy clouds, casting a harsh, bright light across our bedroom. I stand before my full-length mirror, buttoning a conservative slate gray blazer. Today requires the ultimate performance. I must look like a man defeated, a husband who has finally accepted his place beneath the towering ambitions of his wife's family. I pack my leather briefcase, which feels incredibly light. I do not need to carry physical weapons to this execution. My weapon is already locked into the banking mainframe, waiting for my authorization to detonate. I walk downstairs and find Sienna pacing the kitchen floor. She is practically vibrating with anxious energy, checking her luxury watch every few seconds. When she sees me, she forces a warm, reassuring smile that does not quite reach her cold, desperate eyes. Are you ready, baby? She asks, kissing my cheek. Ready to secure our future? I look up at her, letting my shoulders slump slightly. I am ready, Sienna. Let's go to the bank. The drive into the city is suffocatingly quiet. Sienna grips the passenger door handle with white knuckles, her mind undoubtedly racing through her survival timeline. She needs this money to pay off Julian's violent syndicate by tomorrow. She thinks she is driving to her salvation. She has absolutely no idea she is chauffeuring herself to her own financial slaughter. We arrive at the towering glass and steel structure of the First National Bank precisely at 9. The imposing architecture is meant to project security and power. As we step through the revolving doors, I immediately spot them waiting in the grand lobby. Arthur and Eleanor stand alongside Damien. They form a tight, predatory circle. They look exactly like vultures, circling a wounded animal, waiting to strip the flesh from its bones. Ah, the spreadsheet drone finally steps up, Damien sneers as we approach. He is clutching his signature leather briefcase. He looks down at me with pure, unadulterated condescension. I have the finalized collateral assignment documents ready to be executed. I reviewed your little trust clauses, Caleb. They were amateurish, but I integrated the acceptable legal terminology into the final framework. Let's make this quick. I have a very important court filing at 11. Eleanor steps forward, her lips pressed into a thin, judgmental line. You are doing the right thing, Caleb, she says, her tone lacking any genuine warmth. Support your wife. Do not embarrass us today. Arthur simply nods, checking his watch, impatient for the transaction to conclude so he can go brag to his country club friends about his brilliant family's new expansion. A senior bank manager approaches us, holding a thick stack of freshly printed documents. Good morning, everyone, he says professionally. He guides us toward a private, glass-walled conference room. Caleb, we have prepared the transfer authorizations exactly as you requested through our secure online portal last night. We all file into the room, taking our seats around the polished mahogany table. The manager places the massive stack of papers directly in front of me. Damien immediately reaches out and taps his expensive fountain pen against the top page. Sign on the dotted lines, Caleb, he commands, his voice echoing off the glass walls. Authorize the lien transfer to Julian's corporate holding account so we can get the underwriters moving. This is the moment of truth. This is the exact second where Damien's towering ego becomes his fatal flaw. He is so incredibly arrogant, so absolutely certain of his own intellectual superiority, that he does not even bother to read the freshly printed papers the bank manager just placed on the table. He assumes they are the exact collateral assignment documents he drafted. He assumes the bank simply printed his file. He is disastrously wrong. I pick up the heavy, gold-plated pen provided by the bank. I look around the room at the 4 people who have spent years degrading, manipulating, and plotting against me. I let a single dramatic sigh escape my lips, playing the broken, devoted victim one last time. I love you, Sienna, I whisper softly, my voice trembling with manufactured emotion. I want you to have absolutely everything you deserve. Eleanor smiles proudly, whispering to Arthur that I have finally learned my place. Damien taps the table impatiently, urging me to hurry. I press the pen to the paper and sign my name with smooth, practiced strokes. I flip the pages, signing quickly. I sign and initial exactly where required. I am not authorizing a mortgage. I am executing a total asset liquidation and transfer directive. I am legally moving my entire personal net worth into an anonymous, untraceable, offshore blind trust. Buried within the paperwork is a strict severability clause that permanently freezes every single joint account I share with Sienna. I drop the pen. Damien snatches the documents instantly, sliding them over to the bank manager. Execute the transfer, Damien orders with a dismissive wave of his hand. The bank manager reviews the signatures, stamps the final page, and types a rapid sequence into his secure tablet. The transaction is complete, the manager announces cheerfully. The assets have been legally transferred, and the joint accounts are now permanently locked per the authorization instructions. Sienna grins widely, reaching out to grab my hands across the table. Thank you, baby. You just saved the fund. I slowly pull my hands away from her grasp. The tearful, vulnerable expression vanishes from my face, instantly replaced by a mask of cold, impenetrable stone. I stand up, pushing my heavy leather chair back. I did not save his fund, Sienna, I say, my voice dropping to a calm, terrifying whisper. I just locked you out of every dime we shared. You are solely responsible for your massive syndicate debt. I turn and walk out the glass door, leaving my treacherous wife exposed and doomed. Stepping onto the bustling downtown pavement, the crisp morning air fills my lungs with an electric rush of pure adrenaline. The first phase of my retaliation is officially complete. Sienna is cut off from my financial lifelines, entirely exposed to the violent syndicate she borrowed from. But the second phase, the one that will obliterate her golden world, is about to detonate. I slide into the back of my waiting car and open my secure laptop. Through my encrypted backdoor access, I monitor exactly what is happening on Damien's corporate server. After the scene at the bank, Damien storms back to his towering, glass-walled law office. He is seething with unprecedented rage. A meek risk analyst just humiliated him with basic legal sleight of hand. He slams his bespoke leather briefcase onto his mahogany desk and boots up his secure corporate terminal, desperately searching for legal loopholes to undo my asset transfer. He assumes he still has the upper hand. He has absolutely no idea that the digital weapon I planted on his system days ago is waiting for this exact moment. The moment his system connects to the main network, the delayed action Trojan horse program awakens. I watch my screen as the payload executes. An automated email, generated by his own compromised server, drops directly into his primary inbox. The subject line is simple and lethal: the real Sienna. I can easily imagine the arrogant confusion on his face as he clicks the message. Instantly, his dual monitors are hijacked. High-definition security footage floods his expensive screens. The videos show Sienna and Julian walking hand-in-hand into upscale boutique hotels. They are laughing, kissing, and looking completely in love. Next, the program displays heavily encrypted banking ledgers. The documents detail hundreds of thousands of dollars transferred from Julian's fraudulent investment fund directly into Sienna's hidden accounts. There are digital receipts for diamond necklaces, luxury cars, and exotic vacations. Damien prides himself on his meticulous attention to detail. He tracks his own wife's spending obsessively, but he never looked deep enough to see the hidden offshore deposits from Julian. The massive financial fraud is just the appetizer. The main course is the deeply explicit timestamped text messages scrolling across his screen. The program plays an audio file I extracted from Sienna's phone. Sienna's voice fills his pristine office. She is laughing, telling Julian that Damien is just a predictable, boring cash machine. She says she cannot wait until Julian gets the $6 million life insurance payout from my death so they can finally run away together. The arrogant, composed, invincible corporate lawyer is forced to watch his entire reality shatter into a million jagged pieces. His massive ego, his fierce pride, his perfectly curated high society life are all destroyed in a matter of seconds. He is staring at undeniable proof that his wife's sister has been sleeping with his brother-in-law, and that they were using his legal firm as a blind financial shield for their depraved plans. The man who uses his complex legal vocabulary to bully everyone around him is left entirely speechless. He thought I was a paranoid, jealous man trying to drag his family down. He threatened to ruin me, to freeze my assets, to destroy my life just to protect the people who were making a complete fool out of him. Now, the crushing weight of the truth forces him to his knees. He realizes I knew everything from the very beginning. I had the truth all along, and I just handed it to him on a silver platter. My cell phone vibrates heavily in my hand. The caller ID flashes with Damien's name. I let it ring 3 times, savoring the sound of his utter desperation. I slide the answer button, but I do not speak. I just sit in the quiet luxury of my car and listen. I can hear heavy, ragged breathing on the other end of the line. I hear the sound of shattering glass as a heavy object hits his office wall. He is literally destroying his pristine sanctuary. "You knew," he whispers, his deep voice a low, dangerous growl. It does not hold the usual condescending smirk. It is the sound of a man completely unmade. "You knew they were sleeping together. You knew she was using me." "I knew everything, Damien," I reply, my voice perfectly calm and even. "I knew about the affair. I knew about the Ponzi scheme. I knew about the $6 million life insurance policy they took out on me. They were planning to murder me on Mount Rainier. Damien, your wife's sister was going to use my blood money to run away with Julian." A heavy, suffocating silence hangs on the line. I know he is processing the sheer magnitude of their depravity. He is a predator in the courtroom, but right now, he is a victim. We have always hated each other, but in this exact second, we share the same profound trauma. We are the discarded spouses. We are the victims of a monstrous betrayal. When Damien speaks again, the corporate lawyer is gone. Only a ruthless, betrayed man seeking vengeance remains. "I am coming over to your house right now," he says, his voice tight. "We need to talk." I smile, looking out the window as my car glides through the city streets. "I will leave the front door unlocked, Damien." I terminate the call and lean back against the plush leather seat. The first phase of my retaliation shattered Sienna. The second phase just broke Damien. Now, we move to the final stage of total, absolute destruction. I take a deep breath, feeling lighter than I have in years, ready for whatever comes next. The storm they started will now consume them all, leaving nothing but ashes behind. A sleek sedan screeches to a halt in my driveway. Damien throws his door open, stepping into the fading afternoon light. He does not look like the invincible corporate attorney from the bank conference room. His bespoke suit jacket is missing. His silk tie hangs loosely around his neck, ripped open in a fit of rage. He marches up my walkway with heavy, deliberate steps. I press the button on my security panel, and the front door clicks open automatically. Damien pushes inside, letting the heavy door slam shut behind him. He stands in my foyer, breathing heavily, his eyes bloodshot and wild. We have hated each other since the day we met. He always thought I was a boring drone. I always thought he was an arrogant bully. But looking at him right now, the hostility simply evaporates. We are standing in the wreckage of the same profound betrayal. "You left the door unlocked," he says, his voice hardening into pure steel. "I told you I would," I reply, gesturing toward the velvet armchairs. "Can I offer you a drink, Damien? I think we both need one." He follows me, his posture rigid. He does not yell or threaten me with legal action. The arrogant predator is replaced by a man consumed with a cold hunger for vengeance. He walks over to my liquor cabinet, pours a generous measure of scotch, and swallows it in a single motion. "She told me I was the only man who truly understood her," he says, staring at the empty glass. "Sienna bought a $100,000 sports car last month, claiming it was a brand sponsorship deal, but it was not. It was his money. It was stolen money from a fraudulent fund. They thought we were the perfect marks." "They did," I say, leaning against the kitchen island. "Sienna thought my steady income made me a reliable safety net. Julian thought your corporate firm was his personal playground. They planned to take what they needed and leave us holding the burning wreckage." Damien turns to face me, his eyes burning with a dark, lethal intensity. "They grossly underestimated both of us. You transferred your assets offshore today. You locked Sienna out of every joint account. You left her utterly exposed to the syndicate loan sharks. Julian owes the mob over $2.5 million, I say, my voice perfectly steady. The final payment deadline is tomorrow. Without my equity, and without the $6 million life insurance payout he planned to collect by killing me, he is a dead man. And I made absolutely certain he cannot touch a single dime to save himself." A terrifying smile spreads across Damien's face, changing his entire demeanor. The brilliant attorney is back, but now he is operating completely off the books. "An unholy alliance," he murmurs, setting the glass down with a sharp clink. "You deal with the physical threat of your wife. I will deal with the financial destruction of mine." I nod, stepping forward to meet his intensity. "We burn their world to the ground, Damien. We leave nothing but ashes. I know every legal maneuver required to bleed them dry," he says, his voice dropping to a lethal whisper. "I will weaponize my law degree to legally eviscerate her sister Chloe. I will draft emergency injunctions to freeze her assets under the guise of an investigation into financial fraud related to Julian's Ponzi scheme. Because she accepted stolen money, she is complicit in a federal crime. I will use that leverage to tarnish her brand, pull her sponsorships, and drain her accounts. By the time I am done, she will not even own the clothes on her back. And Julian," I add, crossing my arms, "will have all his safety nets dismantled. I have already compiled the comprehensive data packet containing his fraudulent ledgers, the offshore wire transfers, and the syndicate threat messages. I am preparing to send the package to federal authorities and the Securities and Exchange Commission, but I will let the loan shark squeeze him first. I want him to feel the suffocating terror of his actions before the law steps in." We spend the next 2 hours synchronizing our timelines and refining our strategies. Damien opens his laptop on my kitchen counter, immediately drafting the necessary legal documents to initiate their financial ruin. We carefully coordinate the asset freezes, ensuring they will have no warning before the ground drops from beneath their feet. As he works, I monitor my secure network, tracking Julian's frantic digital movements. Julian is attempting to access alternative credit lines, but my severed joint accounts trigger automated fraud alerts, blocking his every move. He is frantically messaging Sienna, begging her to wire him the stolen funds she was hoarding. But she is not answering him. She cannot answer him because Damien is simultaneously revoking her access to the very accounts she thinks she controls. The synchronization of our vengeance is a masterpiece of psychological and financial warfare. Finally, Damien closes his laptop and slides it back into his briefcase. He looks remarkably composed, the chaotic rage from his arrival now channeled into a singular, destructive purpose. "I am going back to our house," he says, straightening his collar. "She is currently at a luxury spa, preparing for her parents' charity gala this weekend. She thinks she got away with everything. I'm going to sit in my home office and systematically destroy her life while she gets a massage." I walk him to the front door, feeling a profound sense of solidarity with the man I once despised. "Good luck, Damien." He pauses, looking back at me with a grim nod. "Watch your back, Caleb. When Julian realizes he has no way out, he will become extremely dangerous. Desperate men strike blindly." "Let him strike," I reply, a cold smile touching my lips. I am more than ready for him. Damien walks to his car and drives away down the quiet suburban street. I close the solid front door and firmly engage the heavy deadbolt. The alliance is permanently sealed, and the final trap is set. Now, all I have to do is wait for my desperate wife and her lover to realize that their meticulously planned murder plot has just become their own inescapable execution. The realization hits Julian like a physical blow when he attempts to access the bridge loan funds he believes were deposited that morning. Sitting in my dark kitchen, I watch my secure monitors as his frantic digital activity spikes. He logs into his primary banking portal, entering his credentials over and over again. Each time, the screen flashes a stark, red access denied error. He tries the secondary corporate accounts, the offshore holding companies, and even his personal checking. Every single avenue is blocked. The severability clause I invoked has severed him from the financial world entirely. He is a captain trapped on a sinking ship with no lifeboats. I intercept an outgoing call he makes to his bank manager. His voice starts out charming and authoritative, but quickly devolves into shrill panic when the manager politely informs him that the asset transfer was absolute and irreversible. He screams into the phone, demanding overrides and threatening legal action. The manager simply hangs up. Julian is officially out of options. But a frozen bank account is the least of his problems right now. The violent syndicate he borrowed from does not care about banking errors or delayed expansions. They only care about their money. Through the tracking software I installed on Sienna's phone, which Julian is currently using to coordinate their moves, I monitor his location as he leaves his downtown office. He does not head back to her. Her silence must be deafening to him now that Damien has initiated her financial ruin. Instead, Julian drives to an abandoned industrial park on the outskirts of the city. It is a classic drop location, isolated and devoid of security cameras. I activate the remote microphone on his device, listening intently as the ambient noise of his car engine cuts out. The heavy thud of a car door slamming echoes through my speakers. Footsteps approach him on the gravel. I hear a sharp, visceral smack, followed by Julian groaning in pain. The loan sharks have arrived, and they are not interested in extending his deadline. "You missed the preliminary transfer, Julian," a deep, gravelly voice speaks over the hidden microphone. It belongs to a man who handles debt collection with brutal physical force. "We gave you enough time to secure the capital from your brother-in-law's estate. Now my boss wants his $2.5 million, plus the interest. Today." Julian gasps for air, clearly struggling to stand. "I had the money," he pleads, his voice trembling with genuine terror. "My partner's husband transferred his assets today, but the bank placed a temporary hold on the clearance. I just need a little more time, please. The Rainier trip is supposed to finalize everything." Another sickening thud rings out. Julian cries out, stumbling against the side of his car. I sit in my safe suburban home, gently sipping my tea, feeling absolutely no pity for the man who planned to watch me freeze to death. "We do not care about your climbing trips or your banking holds," the enforcer snarls. "You have exactly 48 hours, Julian. If that money is not completely cleared and in our accounts by this time on Friday, we are not just going to break your legs. We are going to make an example out of you. We know where you live. We know where your wife's family lives. 48 hours. Do not make us come find you again." Tires screech on the asphalt as the syndicate men drive away, leaving him battered and terrified in the empty lot. I listen to his heavy, ragged breathing as he climbs back into his vehicle. The reality of his situation is finally suffocating him. The Mount Rainier murder plot was a sophisticated, long game designed to look like a tragic accident. But a long game requires time, and time is the one currency he has completely run out of. He cannot wait for a delayed flight or a rescheduled vacation. He needs a massive payout immediately to buy his life back from the mob. I monitor his web browser as he sits in his parked car. Desperation breeds recklessness. He accesses a secure browser, searching for untraceable weapons, heavy-duty gloves, and ski masks. He maps out the police response times for our specific suburban neighborhood. The pieces of his new sloppy plan fall into place right before my eyes. If he cannot stage a tragic accident abroad, he will have to stage a violent, botched home invasion right here. He plans to break into our house in the middle of the night. He thinks I am still severely ill and weak from the virus I faked. He expects to find me asleep and vulnerable. He will smash a back window to simulate a break-in, execute me in my own bed, and then call the police in hysterics, claiming an unknown intruder attacked us. It is a desperate, dirty strategy. But the immediate payout of the life insurance is his only lifeline. I watch as he places an order for a heavy aluminum baseball bat from a local sporting goods store, selecting the immediate curbside pickup option. He is gathering his murder weapons while nursing his bruised ribs. He wrongly thinks he is taking absolute control of his destiny. He has absolutely no idea that he is walking straight into a meticulously prepared fortress. I close the tracking application and transition to my central security interface. I run a full diagnostic on the infrared cameras and the steel security shutters I had installed around my property. Everything is green and fully operational. The ruthless loan sharks just gave him an ultimatum, but I am giving him a definitive sentence. He is coming for my life tonight, and I am more than ready to welcome him home. When Julian visited the sporting goods store to buy his aluminum baseball bat, he also purchased a cheap, prepaid burner phone to communicate with Sienna without leaving a trace on his primary device. He assumed a cash transaction would make him invisible, but he activated the device while sitting inside his vehicle, which was still broadcasting its location and network proximity data directly to my secure server. It took me less than 10 minutes to isolate the new cellular signal and mirror its incoming and outgoing data packets. Now, his burner phone is completely compromised. I watch as he texts Sienna one final time. He tells her the mob gave him a 48-hour deadline, but he promises to fix everything tonight. He tells her to pack her bags and wait for his signal. Her reply is instantaneous. She sends a heart emoji and tells him to be quick. My blood runs ice cold, but my hands remain perfectly steady. I know exactly when he is coming. The house needs to be an empty, isolated fortress for this trap to work flawlessly. Earlier this afternoon, I took care of the only remaining innocent variable. I called my longtime housekeeper and told her I was gifting her a fully paid week off to visit her family. I transferred a generous bonus into her account and insisted she leave immediately. She was absolutely thrilled by the unexpected surprise and drove away several hours ago, leaving the property entirely vacant for the night. There will be no witnesses to get caught in the crossfire. It is just me, the smart home network, and the man who wants to murder me. I have spent the last 3 days completely retrofitting the internal network. I disabled the standard civilian security systems and replaced them with military-grade hardware. I installed hidden high-definition infrared cameras in every single room, hallway, and entry point. They are no larger than a pinhead, concealed inside light fixtures, smoke detectors, and air vents. I walk back to my home office and initiate the final synchronization sequence. I link the live infrared video feeds and the hidden audio microphones directly to a secure remote cloud server. This ensures that even if Julian somehow destroys the local hard drives, the evidence will survive intact. But I need an active witness on the outside. Someone who hates him just as much as I do. I open an encrypted communication channel to Damien. He is currently sitting in his own dark office miles away, systematically dismantling his wife's financial life. I send him a heavily encrypted link with a secure access key. I type a brief message telling him to open the feed and watch the show. Damien replies almost immediately. He confirms the link is active on his end. He now has a front-row seat to the destruction of the man who ruined his marriage. Our synchronized vengeance is fully operational. We are two discarded spouses holding the detonator to a massive explosive device. Outside the large bay windows, the sky begins to darken dramatically. A severe weather system rolls over the city, bringing a violent thunderstorm the local news warned about all week. The timing could not be more perfect. Thick black clouds swallow the fading afternoon sun, plunging the neighborhood into an eerie, premature twilight. The wind howls against the glass, rattling the heavy window frames. A sudden, jagged flash of lightning illuminates the room, followed seconds later by a bone-rattling crack of thunder. The torrential rain begins to fall in heavy, blinding sheets, washing over the streets and masking any sound of an approaching vehicle. The storm provides the ultimate acoustic cover for a violent home invasion. Julian is undoubtedly counting on this weather to hide the sound of breaking glass and muffled struggles. He thinks the storm is his ally. He does not realize it is just the dramatic backdrop for his own demise. I move methodically through the ground floor, turning off every single light switch. I plunge the entire house into absolute, pitch-black darkness. The only illumination comes from the occasional flash of lightning slicing through the heavy rain. I walk into the kitchen and put a kettle on the stove. I complete this mundane task with slow precision. I pour the steaming water over a bag of chamomile tea, letting the soothing aroma fill the dark kitchen. I carefully carry the warm ceramic mug into the expansive living room. I sit down in my favorite velvet armchair, positioned perfectly in the deepest shadows of the room. The chair offers a clear, unobstructed view of the back patio doors and the main hallway. I place my secure tablet on my lap, dimming the screen to its lowest possible brightness setting. The grid of infrared camera feeds glows with a faint green hue, illuminating my face in the darkness. I can see every square inch of the property in perfect high-definition night vision. I take a slow, comforting sip of the hot tea, feeling the warmth slide down my throat. My heart rate is incredibly slow and steady. There is no fear left inside me. Fear requires uncertainty, and I am absolutely certain of how tonight will end. I sit in the deep shadows and listen closely to the heavy, rhythmic drumming of the pouring rain against the slate roof above me. I think about the 5 years I spent trying to be the perfect husband, trying to earn the validation of my toxic in-laws. I sacrificed my own comfort to build a safe, reliable foundation for a woman who viewed me as nothing more than a disposable asset. Those memories do not hurt anymore. They just fuel the cold, calculated machine I have become. I am a risk analyst, and I am about to permanently eliminate the greatest risk of my life. I take another sip of tea, watching the screen, waiting for the predator to step into my trap. The violent storm outside provides the perfect acoustic cover. Thunder violently shakes the floorboards beneath my feet. I remain perfectly still in the velvet armchair. My eyes are locked onto the glowing screen of my secure tablet. The infrared camera feed from the back patio flickers as a jagged bolt of lightning illuminates the sky. A thermal silhouette emerges from the heavy tree line at the edge of my property. It is a man, moving with desperate urgency through the pouring rain. My wife's lover has finally arrived to collect his $6 million payout. Julian steps onto the wooden deck. The night vision camera captures every detail of his disguise. He wears a dark hoodie pulled tight around his head. A black ski mask conceals his face. Thick leather gloves cover his hands to prevent fingerprints. His right hand tightly grips the heavy aluminum baseball bat he purchased just hours ago. Seeing the man holding a blunt force weapon with the explicit intent to crush my skull sends a jolt of pure ice through my veins. It is one thing to read about a murder plot in digital files. It is an entirely different reality to watch the executioner walking up to your back door. He pauses at the patio doors. He is shivering, either from the freezing rain or the adrenaline pumping through his system. He presses his face against the glass, trying to peer into the kitchen. He thinks I am upstairs in the master bedroom, heavily medicated and burning with a severe viral fever. He believes he has the element of surprise. He waits for another massive crack of thunder to roll across the sky. When the boom hits, he swings the aluminum bat against the glass pane near the doorknob. The sharp sound of shattering glass echoes through the dark house. Shards scatter across the hardwood floor. The howling wind and driving rain immediately whip into my pristine kitchen. Julian reaches his gloved hand through the jagged hole in the glass and twists the deadbolt. The heavy door swings open, and my wife's lover steps inside. He carefully closes the heavy wooden door behind him to minimize the cold draft. He stands frozen in the center of the kitchen, letting his eyes adjust to the absolute darkness. I sit less than 30 feet away in the living room, concealed by the deep shadows. I can hear his heavy, ragged breathing. I can hear the wet squeak of his soaked boots on the floorboards. I watch him on my tablet screen as he slowly raises the baseball bat, resting it against his shoulder. He moves with a predatory caution. He knows the layout of this house perfectly. He knows which floorboards creak and which pathways offer the most silence. He navigates around the kitchen island, avoiding the bar stools. My heart rate remains steady. There is no panic in my chest. I am analyzing his movements, collecting data on my target. He stops at the edge of the kitchen, peering into the dining room. A flash of lightning illuminates his masked face. I can see the frantic energy in his eyes. This is not the calculated investment director who charms wealthy clients at charity galas. This is a desperate, cornered animal fighting for survival. The violent syndicate gave him a 48-hour deadline to pay back $2.5 million. He is currently looking at his own friend's home as a slaughterhouse, and his friend's husband as the sacrificial lamb required to settle his debts. He steps into the dining room, moving closer to the living room archway. I hold my breath, ensuring absolutely no sound escapes my lips. I set my cup of chamomile tea silently onto the side table. The soft green glow of the tablet screen is angled downward, shielded by my body. Julian passes within 15 feet of my armchair. If he were to turn his head and look deep into the corner, he might spot my silhouette. But his focus is entirely fixed upward, toward the second-floor landing. He is fixated on the master bedroom where he expects to find me sleeping. He grips the bat tighter, his knuckles straining against the leather gloves. He takes slow, deliberate steps through the main hallway. He passes the family photographs hanging on the wall, pictures of my wedding day, our vacations, our fake happy life together. He does not even glance at them. He is entirely consumed by the grisly task ahead of him. He approaches the base of the massive wooden staircase that leads directly to our master bedroom suite on the second floor. I watch the live feed from the camera hidden inside the smoke detector. It captures a perfect overhead view of his progression. He stops at the step. He takes a deep, shaky breath, gathering his nerve to climb the stairs and commit a brutal murder. He likely envisions smashing the window in the bedroom, turning the room upside down, and striking me while I sleep. He is visualizing the fake police interrogation, the fake tears he will shed for the cameras, the comforting pats on the back he will receive from my own in-laws. He can probably already taste the $6 million insurance payout that will wash away all his sins. He places his wet boot on the first wooden stair. The house is completely silent, except for the raging storm outside. He takes another step, moving upward into the dark. He is completely unaware that every single breath he takes is being broadcast to a secure cloud server. He has no idea that Damien is watching this exact same feed miles away, preparing to obliterate his wife Chloe's world. Julian thinks he is the apex predator, hunting a weak, naive victim in the dead of night. He does not know he is nothing but a blind, desperate rat wandering willingly into an inescapable steel trap. The arrogant hunter has finally become the hunted, and he is about to find out just how heavily fortified my shadows truly are tonight. He lifts his wet boot and places it on the second wooden stair. His weight shifts upward into the dark. I do not wait for him to reach the landing. I tap the master override command on my glowing tablet screen. The silent house suddenly erupts into mechanical violence. Heavy, reinforced steel security shutters slam down over every single exterior door and window simultaneously. The synchronized metallic crashes echo through the hallway like the doors of a federal prison cell locking into place. The entire property is instantly sealed. Julian freezes mid-step. His head whips around toward the front door. Through the infrared camera feed, I watch his chest heave as absolute panic spikes his heart rate. He tightly grips his aluminum baseball bat, spinning in a frantic circle to assess his blocked escape routes. He knows the house is on lockdown, but his arrogant mind still clings to a shred of deniability. He clearly believes he merely tripped a perimeter sensor and triggered an automated security protocol. He assumes he can still salvage his horrific execution plan. He takes another hesitant step up the stairs, preparing to rush the master bedroom and finish his grisly task before local authorities arrive. I press the microphone icon on my secure tablet. The hidden surround sound speakers built into the vaulted ceiling crackle to life. "Looking for me, Julian?" My voice echoes through the dark house. It is calm, detached, and utterly chilling. Julian jumps backward off the staircase, entirely abandoning his stealthy approach. He stumbles against the hallway console table, sending a decorative vase crashing to the hardwood floor. "Caleb? Where are you?" he shouts, gripping the bat with both hands. He frantically searches the shadows, projecting fake, desperate urgency. "The alarm tripped. Someone broke in. Stay hidden upstairs. I have a weapon and I'm going to protect you." His performance is almost laughable. Even now, trapped inside a sealed fortress, wearing a black ski mask and thick leather gloves, he is trying to play the fiercely protective brother-in-law. He genuinely thinks I am cowering in a closet, waiting for him to save me. "Stop acting, Julian." My voice booms through the intercom system. I adjust the audio output to shift from the hallway speakers to the dining room speakers, creating a disorienting echo. "I know it is you behind that mask, and I know you did not break a glass door to protect me. You broke in to cave my skull in with that aluminum bat so you can collect the $6 million life insurance policy." The sudden revelation hits him like a physical blow. Julian rips the ski mask off his head. In the infrared feed, his face is completely pale and drenched in nervous sweat. He looks wildly at the ceiling, trying to locate the source of my voice. "Caleb, you are crazy. Open these steel shutters right now. The police are going to be here any second and we need to get out." "The police are not coming yet," I reply smoothly. "I disabled the automatic dispatch protocol before you even stepped foot on my patio. It is just you and me inside this vault. Just a treacherous husband's lover trying to murder his victim to pay off the syndicate loan sharks he owes $2.5 million to." Hearing his deepest, darkest secrets broadcast over the intercom system shatters whatever composure he has left. He realizes he has walked blindly into a meticulously prepared trap. The predator has instantly become the helpless prey. He swings his baseball bat wildly at the ceiling, hoping to smash a speaker or a camera. He only hits empty air and drywall. He lets out a raw, guttural scream of pure, escalating terror. "How do you know about the syndicate? How do you know about the insurance money?" "Because you synced your new burner phone to the wrong cloud network, you absolute idiot," I say, my voice dripping with absolute contempt. I tap another command on my tablet. The smart lights in the hallway flash blindingly bright for a split second before plunging him back into pitch-black darkness. The sudden visual assault makes him stumble backward. I read every single encrypted message between you and my wife, Sienna. I saw the fraudulent investment ledgers. I saw the offshore wire transfers paying for her designer lifestyle using stolen capital. I know you plan to push me off a mountain on Mount Rainier. But since I froze her accounts today, you had to accelerate the timeline. You needed me dead tonight. Julian paces the narrow hallway like a caged animal. The harsh reality of his situation is finally crushing him. His startup fund is destroyed. His bank accounts are frozen solid. The violent mob wants him dead by tomorrow morning. And now, his desperate murder plot has been completely uncovered by his intended victim. The heavy aluminum bat drops from his shaking hands, clanging loudly against the floorboards. His knees buckle, and he collapses onto the floor. He covers his face with his hands and begins sobbing hysterically. "Caleb, please," he wails, begging the empty, dark air around him. "You have to help me. They are going to kill me. I owe them way too much money. I did not want to hurt you, I swear. Sienna made me do it. She said the insurance money was the only way we could be free together. She manipulated me into buying the policy." "Sienna manipulated you?" I ask, letting out a sharp, mocking laugh that reverberates through the house. "You took the policy out 3 months ago, Julian. You planned my execution down to the heavy winter boots on the ice. You are a cold-blooded murderer, and right now you are explicitly confessing to conspiracy, insurance fraud, and attempted homicide, all of which is being recorded in perfect, high-definition resolution. Every single word you just sobbed is streaming directly to a secure cloud server that you can never access or destroy." Julian snaps his head up, sheer horror widening his eyes. "You recorded this? Caleb, no! Please do not do this. I will leave the state. I will disappear forever. Just open the front door and let me run away." I tap another sequence on my tablet. The house lights suddenly blaze to 100% brightness, blinding him completely. I stand up from my velvet armchair and walk slowly out of the dark living room, stepping deliberately into the bright hallway. I look down at the pathetic, weeping man kneeling on my floor. I do not feel any fear. I do not feel any lingering affection. I feel absolutely nothing but triumphant satisfaction. "You are not running anywhere, Julian," I say, staring into his panicked eyes. "I just re-enabled the automatic police dispatch. Everything ends tonight." Red and blue emergency lights slice through the heavy rain, flashing brilliantly through the tiny gaps in my steel security shutters. I hear the heavy, coordinated pounding of tactical boots on my front porch. A muffled voice demands immediate entry. I press a single button on my tablet, raising the front security shutter and unlocking the deadbolt. 4 armed police officers swarm into my hallway, their weapons drawn and flashlights piercing the dark. They immediately see the broken glass scattered across the kitchen floor, the heavy aluminum baseball bat dropped on the hardwood, and Julian kneeling on the floor, wearing a dark hoodie and thick leather gloves. He looks exactly like the violent home invader he planned to be. The officers tackle him, slamming his face against the floorboards. Handcuffs click sharply around his wrists. They drag my wife's sobbing lover toward the front door. He twists his head back, looking at me with wild, desperate eyes. He screams my name, begging for mercy, claiming it is all a terrible misunderstanding. I simply stand quietly against the wall, projecting the flawless image of a terrified survivor. But my face remains a mask of cold, unyielding stone. The immediate physical threat is now completely neutralized. Julian is going to a federal holding cell, but the psychological war is far from over. My incredibly toxic in-laws and my treacherous wife still have to face their reckoning. The final act of this nightmare is about to begin. The morning after Julian's arrest, the news of his violent break-in is entirely contained. I handed the unedited security footage, including his full audio confession, directly to the lead detective. The digital evidence is overwhelming and absolute. Julian is facing severe charges for attempted murder, conspiracy, and massive financial fraud. He is locked in a federal holding cell, initially denied bail by the overnight magistrate. The local authorities treat me with profound sympathy, offering victim support services and securing the crime scene. I feel an incredible sense of vindication. The truth is safely in the hands of the law, but I drastically underestimated the sheer delusional magnitude of my in-laws' toxic loyalty to their social status. At noon, my cell phone rings. The caller ID displays Arthur. I answer, expecting a tearful apology. I expect my father-in-law to express profound horror that the man they championed just tried to crush my skull. Instead, I am met with furious, irrational screaming. "Caleb, what the hell have you done?" Arthur bellows, his voice echoing with pure outrage. "We just got a frantic call from an expensive federal defense attorney. You framed him. You set Julian up to look like a common criminal because you are jealous of his financial success and Sienna's beautiful happiness." I sit at my kitchen island, staring at the phone in sheer disbelief. Framed him? Arthur, he broke into my house with a baseball bat. He explicitly confessed on camera to planning my murder for insurance money. How exactly do you frame someone for a premeditated home invasion? Eleanor snatches the phone from Arthur, her voice shrill and aggressively accusatory. "Julian told us absolutely everything. He said he came over to get his personal belongings and you deliberately locked him inside. He said you terrified him and manipulated the smart home security system to make it look like a violent attack. You recorded him under extreme duress. You are a hysterical, vindictive liar, Caleb. You have always tried to ruin this family's pristine reputation. And now you are trying to send an innocent, visionary man to federal prison." I am literally struck speechless by their profound cognitive dissonance. The delusion is so deeply entrenched it borders on clinical psychosis. Julian, a manipulative sociopath, has spun a desperate, pathetic lie from his concrete jail cell. And my in-laws, blinded by their absolute obsession with the perfect family image, have swallowed his story whole. They refuse to accept that their golden child's husband is a fraudulent murderer. Admitting that terrifying reality would mean admitting their entire social existence is a fabricated sham. They would rather believe their own son-in-law is an evil mastermind than face the humiliation of a public scandal. You are consciously choosing to believe a man who actively tried to kill me over your own family, I say, my voice dropping to a dangerous, icy whisper. "We are choosing to believe the truth," Arthur snaps back aggressively. "And we are taking immediate action to fix your psychotic mess. We just wired our entire liquid retirement savings to a bondsman. We put our entire estate up as collateral to secure an emergency federal bail bond for Julian. We are getting him out today. And to prove his complete innocence, we are hosting a major charity gala at our estate this Saturday. We are going to announce Chloe's new pregnancy and show the entire society circuit that our family stands united against your insane, malicious lies. They abruptly hang up, leaving me listening to the dead silence of the disconnected line. I lower the device, a cold, dark laugh escaping my lips. They leveraged their mansion. They drained their retirement accounts. They tied their entire financial existence to a federal bail bond for a man running a massive Ponzi scheme. They have literally handed me the exact weapon I need to destroy them completely. If a federal defendant violates bail or is proven guilty of massive financial fraud, the collateral is permanently seized by the government. By desperately trying to save their high society reputation, my in-laws have unknowingly signed their own absolute financial death warrant. They are walking blindly into a catastrophe they constructed themselves. I will watch them lose absolutely everything they value right in front of everyone. I do not feel any lingering anger or sorrow anymore. I only feel the terrifying thrill of total victory approaching. The trap is now set perfectly, and Saturday night will be the ultimate execution. The days leading up to Saturday night unfold exactly as I predicted. My in-laws move with frantic, desperate energy to salvage their crumbling social facade. They hire elite event planners overnight, transforming their sprawling estate into a breathtaking venue for their charity gala. I monitor their expenditures through the remaining digital access I have to their public accounts. They are bleeding cash, paying exorbitant rush fees for caterers, florists, and lighting technicians. Arthur is aggressively calling his corporate allies, cashing in decades of favors to ensure a packed house. Eleanor is micromanaging the guest list, guaranteeing the presence of influential socialites. They are constructing a magnificent theatrical stage designed solely to publicly launder the reputation of a man who tried to murder me. Through the society grapevine, I hear the ridiculous narrative they are spinning to their wealthy friends. They claim Julian was the victim of a terrible misunderstanding, exacerbated by my supposed mental breakdown. They are selling a story of a devoted family man wrongfully accused by a jealous, unstable husband. To cement this illusion of unshakable family unity, they will announce Chloe is pregnant. A new baby represents innocence and the continuation of the family legacy. They believe this announcement will completely overwrite the ugly truth of Julian being dragged out of my house in handcuffs. They are attempting to push me out of the family narrative, replacing my existence with Sienna and Julian expanding their perfect lineage. I spend my Saturday afternoon preparing for the execution with cold, methodical precision. I do not feel any anxiety or hesitation. The man who constantly sought his in-laws' approval is completely dead. I stand in front of my full-length mirror, running my hands over the fabric of my suit. I chose an impeccably tailored, razor-sharp black tuxedo. It is armor designed to command absolute authority. I pair it with a crisp white shirt and a silk bow tie, letting the classic simplicity convey total control. I look at my reflection and see a predator ready to strike. At exactly 7 in the evening, a sleek black town car pulls into my quiet driveway. Damien steps out of the back seat to greet me. He looks like a high-powered executioner. He is dressed impeccably in his custom-tailored midnight black tuxedo. His face is a mask of terrifying calm. The arrogant corporate lawyer has channeled his profound betrayal into lethal, focused energy. We do not exchange pleasantries. We look at each other, recognizing the shared hunger for total destruction. I slide into the plush leather seat, and Damien sits beside me. The engine purrs quietly as the driver pulls away, heading toward the affluent suburbs. The ride is suffocatingly quiet, but our shared understanding of the impending carnage speaks volumes. Damien opens his sleek briefcase and taps commands into his secure tablet, ensuring his digital weapons are fully operational. I finalize the asset liquidation protocols for Chloe, he murmurs, his deep voice cutting through the silence. She has zero liquidity left. Her offshore safety nets are gone, and Julian's corporate accounts are officially frozen by a court order I obtained this morning. I nod, staring out the tinted window at the passing city lights. My evidence packet is queued and ready for broadcast, I reply. The federal agents are on standby, waiting for my signal. We are bringing a bomb to a garden party. The town car turns onto the familiar winding road leading to my in-laws' sprawling estate. The sheer scale of their desperation is visible from half a mile away. The massive wrought iron gates are propped open, guarded by private security. The long, sweeping driveway is packed with luxury vehicles. Valets in crisp uniforms rush back and forth, opening doors for the city's elite. An elegant white tent has been erected in the backyard, with glowing chandeliers suspended from the high ceiling. Damien steps out of the car first, and I follow him. We walk up the stone pathway toward the grand entrance, moving in perfect, lethal synchronization. We are walking directly into the lion's den. But we are the ones bringing the fire. The moment we step through the heavy mahogany doors, the ambient noise of the crowded foyer begins to shift. Heads turn immediately. Whispers ripple through the gathering of wealthy socialites like a physical wave. Everyone in this room has heard the malicious rumors my in-laws spread. They all know about Julian being arrested and my supposed hysterical breakdown. Seeing me walk in confidently, dressed impeccably, and escorted by the powerful corporate lawyer Damien, whose wife is the sister of my cheating wife, sends a shockwave of confusion through the guests. I keep my posture rigidly straight and my expression unreadable. We navigate through the sea of expensive suits and designer gowns, making our way toward the backyard tent. I spot my target standing near the main stage erected at the far end of the venue. Arthur is holding a microphone, beaming with fake patriarchal joy. Eleanor stands next to him, wearing a diamond necklace paid for with leveraged debt. Julian is there, out on federal bail, looking nervous but desperately trying to maintain his charming facade. Sienna stands beside him, glowing for the cameras. She is laughing, playing her role to perfection. They look like the quintessential wealthy American dynasty. They are completely oblivious to the fact that they are standing at ground zero. The ambient chatter of the ballroom is deafening. Waiters in crisp white uniforms glide seamlessly through the crowd, carrying silver trays of crystal champagne flutes and delicate appetizers. Orchids and white roses spill from tall glass vases, reflecting the warm glow of the chandeliers. It is a masterclass in high society camouflage. Every single detail is meticulously curated to project invincibility and moral purity. I stand near the heavy velvet drapes at the perimeter of the room, keeping my posture perfectly straight. My tuxedo blends slightly into the shadows, allowing me to observe without drawing the eyes of the room. Damien stands beside me. His posture is rigid, his hands folded behind his back, gripping a sleek digital tablet. He is watching his wife, Chloe, and her sister, Sienna, on the stage. Arthur steps forward and taps the microphone. The sharp feedback silences the room instantly. The elite guests turn their attention to the main stage. "Ladies and gentlemen," Arthur begins, his voice echoing with patriarchal warmth. "As many of you know, our family has recently faced an onslaught of malicious, unfounded rumors. We have endured a terrible trial, attempting to navigate through a dark cloud of jealousy and misunderstanding. But we are nothing if not resilient. Tonight is not about looking backward at false accusations. Tonight is about looking forward. It is about celebrating the unshakable foundation of family loyalty and the beautiful truth that always prevails over bitter lies." Eleanor nods approvingly beside him, dabbing at a fake tear with a lace handkerchief. Julian stands just behind them, wearing a perfectly tailored suit that cannot completely hide the nervous sweat glistening on his forehead. He smiles tightly, playing the role of the wrongfully accused victim who has been graciously vindicated by his loving in-laws. He thinks the federal bail bond and this lavish public display have actually saved him. He thinks the nightmare is over. Arthur raises his voice to ensure the entire ballroom hears. "We are incredibly thrilled to officially announce that our beautiful daughter Chloe and her husband Julian are expecting their first child." The crowd erupts into polite, enthusiastic applause. Chloe blushes, stepping forward to gently rest both hands on her flat stomach. She looks out into the sea of wealthy donors and socialites, soaking up their adoration. "To commemorate this joyous occasion, and to remind us all of what matters," Arthur continues, gesturing toward the massive projection screen suspended above the stage, "I have prepared a short video tribute dedicated to our family's unbreakable resilience. Please direct your attention to the screen." The opulent crystal chandeliers dim automatically, plunging the grand tent into a soft, thick, expectant darkness. A hushed silence falls over the crowd. Beside me, Damien lets out a low, chilling breath. His thumb hovers over the glowing screen of his tablet. He used his high-level corporate security clearance to access the event management company's network earlier today, bypassing their basic firewalls and linking his device directly to the primary audio-visual control board. He does not hesitate. With a cold, ruthless swipe of his finger, Damien executes the override command. The massive projection screen flickers violently. Instead of a heartwarming montage of childhood photographs set to soft acoustic guitar music, the screen goes entirely black for a fraction of a second. Then, it bursts to life with the stark, eerie green and white contrast of high-definition infrared security footage. The elite crowd gasps collectively as the imposing image of Julian comes into sharp focus. He is wearing a dark hoodie and a black ski mask, gripping a heavy aluminum baseball bat. He is captured in perfect clarity, smashing through the glass pane of my back patio door. The sheer, raw violence of the visual instantly paralyzes the entire room. Before anyone in the crowd can process the footage, the audio feed kicks in. The state-of-the-art surround sound system my in-laws rented amplifies the sound to a deafening volume. Julian's panicked, frantic voice booms across the elegant ballroom, echoing off the canvas walls. "Caleb, please! You have to help me. They are going to kill me. I owe them way too much money. I did not want to hurt you, I swear. Sienna made me do it. She said the insurance money was the only way we could be free together. She manipulated me into buying the policy." The silence in the tent becomes absolute and suffocating. The wealthy donors, the influential business partners, the local politicians, they all freeze, staring at the massive screen in pure, unadulterated horror. Arthur drops the microphone. It hits the wooden stage floor with a deafening screech of audio feedback that makes several guests cover their ears. Eleanor covers her mouth with both hands, her face draining of all color, leaving her looking like a pale ghost in her expensive designer gown. Julian looks like he is going to vomit, taking a panicked, stumbling step backward toward the edge of the stage. But the ruthless digital execution does not stop there. Damien presses another button on his tablet. The screen cuts abruptly from the infrared security footage to a stark black background, displaying a simple white audio waveform. The crisp, undeniable voices of Sienna and Julian fill the ballroom, bridging the final gap of their destruction. Sienna's voice laughs cruelly through the speakers, echoing loudly over the horrified crowd. Damien is so clueless. He is just a boring cash machine. "I cannot wait until you get that $6 million from Caleb's policy. We can finally leave this miserable family behind." Julian's voice replies, low and intimate, capturing their absolute deceit. "And the baby, Sienna? Are you sure Caleb doesn't suspect?" "Please," Sienna's voice responds, dripping with dismissive arrogance. "Caleb truly thinks he is a father, but we know the truth, babe. This baby is yours. Just handle Caleb quickly and we are finally free." The final recorded words hang in the stagnant air of the grand tent. For a single suspended heartbeat, nobody breathes. Then, the entire ballroom shatters into absolute pandemonium. The facade of high society decorum vanishes instantly. Influential donors and wealthy socialites gasp aloud, whispering frantically to one another. Several women in expensive designer gowns physically step backward, pulling away from the stage as if the people standing there are infected with a lethal disease. Cell phones are raised high in the air, recording the catastrophic downfall of the city's elite. I stand perfectly still in the shadows, letting the sweet taste of absolute vindication wash over me. The carefully constructed kingdom of lies is collapsing exactly as I planned. Sienna drops her hands from her face, her expression contorting into a mask of pure, unadulterated terror. The glowing influencer who, just moments ago, bathed in the adoration of her wealthy peers, now looks like a cornered animal. She lets out a piercing, hysterical scream, covering her ears as if she can block out the sound of her own treacherous voice echoing off the canvas walls. "It is a fake," she shrieks, her voice cracking. "Someone manipulated the audio. Damien, please, you have to believe me." But she is pleading to a crowd that has already convicted her. Her elite sponsor representatives, the very people who fund her lavish lifestyle, are actively turning their backs on her. They are frantically typing on their phones, undoubtedly instructing their public relations teams to sever all ties and pull every active contract. Her perfectly curated digital empire is disintegrating right before her eyes. Julian looks wildly around the room, searching the sea of faces for an escape route. His charming investment director persona is completely gone, replaced by the frantic energy of a trapped murderer. He takes another staggering step back, knocking over a massive floral arrangement. Crystal vases shatter against the hardwood stage, spraying water and white roses everywhere. Arthur and Eleanor remain frozen. My father-in-law looks like he is having a cardiac event, his face flushed a dangerous purple. My mother-in-law is hyperventilating, clutching her diamond necklace as she stares blankly at the dark projection screen. Their precious family legacy, the status they sacrificed me to protect, is currently burning to the ground on live streaming video. From the shadows near the velvet drapes, Damien begins his slow, deliberate walk down the center aisle. He does not rush. He does not display an ounce of anger or loss of control. He moves with the lethal precision of a corporate executioner who has already won the case. The chaotic crowd parts for him instantly, sensing the dangerous aura radiating from his impeccably tailored tuxedo. He ascends the wooden steps of the stage, his polished shoes crunching over the broken glass and crushed roses. Sienna sees him approaching and drops to her knees, her designer gown pooling around her on the wet stage floor. "Damien, please," she sobs, reaching out with trembling hands. "Damien, please listen to me. I love you. The video is a lie. I would never do this to you." Damien stops exactly 1 foot away from his wife's sister. He looks down at her with eyes devoid of any warmth, affection, or mercy. He does not raise his voice to compete with the murmuring crowd. He speaks with absolute, chilling clarity. His deep voice cuts through the ambient noise, forcing everyone in the front rows to lean in and listen. "You are a remarkably terrible liar, Sienna," Damien says, his tone flat and clinical. He reaches inside his tuxedo jacket and pulls out a thick, heavy manila folder. He drops it directly onto her sister Chloe's lap, who is sitting on a chair nearby, hyperventilating. "Those are your expedited divorce papers, Chloe, and included within that folder is a comprehensive civil lawsuit for massive financial fraud and corporate embezzlement against your sister. I used my legal authority to initiate an emergency freeze on every single one of Sienna's accounts. I canceled all her credit lines, and I liquidated the blind trust she foolishly thought she controlled. You are completely and utterly destitute." Chloe stares at the manila folder as if it is a venomous snake. She shakes her head wildly, tears ruining her flawless makeup. "You cannot do this! Damien, please!" Damien leans down slightly, ensuring his next words decimate whatever shred of hope they have left. Sienna is a criminal accomplice who accepted stolen funds from a fraudulent investment scheme to finance her fake lifestyle. She does not get a single dime of my money. And you, Chloe, do not get to pass off a murderer's child as my heir. You are both completely ruined. Sienna lets out another gut-wrenching sob, clutching her sister as they collapse forward onto the stage. The golden children, the flawless daughters who could do no wrong, are reduced to weeping, ruined messes in front of the entire society circuit. They have absolutely nothing left to their names. No money, no status, no sponsorships, and no husbands. They are frauds, exposed to the glaring light of public scrutiny, and there is no coming back from this total humiliation. I watch from the edge of the room, feeling the cold satisfaction settle deep into my bones. Sienna built her entire existence on making me feel inferior, and now she is begging for scraps on a ruined stage. Damien turns his back on them without a second glance. He looks at Julian, who is currently trying to inch toward the side exit of the massive tent. "And as for you," Damien says, checking his expensive watch with cold detachment, "your time is officially up." The wailing of sirens grows exponentially louder, transforming from a distant echo into a deafening roar that entirely swallows the panicked murmurs of the ballroom. Red and blue emergency lights slice through the elegant, translucent fabric of the massive outdoor tent. The strobing colors cast chaotic, frantic shadows across the terrified faces of the city's elite. Wealthy donors and influential socialites, people who usually wield absolute power in their daily lives, suddenly find themselves frozen in sheer, unadulterated panic. They realize they are trapped inside the epicenter of a massive, unprecedented law enforcement operation. Julian spins wildly, his eyes darting toward the rear exit of the tent. The charming, confident investment director is completely gone. In his place stands a cornered, desperate fugitive. He takes a sudden, staggering step toward the catering tables, attempting to blend into the fleeing crowd of servers, but he is hopelessly out of time. Heavy tactical boots hit the pristine wooden floorboards of the stage entrance. Dozens of federal agents wearing dark tactical gear emblazoned with the bold letters of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Securities and Exchange Commission storm into the grand ballroom. They move with absolute, terrifying precision. The stark contrast between their heavy ballistic vests and the delicate white roses and crystal champagne flutes is a masterpiece of visual destruction. They fan out across the venue, immediately locking down every single exit. "Federal agents, nobody move!" A commanding voice echoes through a bullhorn, slicing through the hysterical screams of the affluent guests. Julian makes a pathetic, desperate break for the side flap of the canvas tent. He does not even make it 5 yards. 3 heavily armed tactical agents intercept him with brutal efficiency. They tackle him hard onto the polished wooden floor. His expensive tailored suit tears as he hits the ground. A crystal vase shatters beside him, raining water and flower petals over his struggling body. Julian thrashes wildly, screaming that it is all a terrible mistake. But the agents are utterly relentless. They yank his arms behind his back, and the sharp, definitive click of heavy steel handcuffs snaps shut around his wrists. I watch the entire execution from my quiet vantage point near the velvet drapes. My tuxedo blends into the ambient shadows, allowing me to witness the flawless culmination of my meticulous financial warfare. Those federal agents are not here by accident. They did not just stumble upon this fraudulent empire. 3 days ago, I compiled every single decrypted ledger, every offshore wire transfer receipt, and every violent threat message from the underground syndicate. I packaged the absolute proof of his massive, multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme into a secure, encrypted digital dossier. I handed that comprehensive data packet directly to a senior contact at the federal prosecutor's office. I gave the government the exact roadmap they needed to dismantle his entire operation. And now, the government has arrived to collect their prize. The lead federal agent hauls Julian to his feet. He is completely covered in sweat, spilled water, and sheer terror. The agent loudly recites his Miranda rights, projecting his voice so every single influential guest in the room can hear the devastating charges. He lists wire fraud, securities fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. Every word is a nail in the coffin of Julian's carefully curated public image. The high society crowd recoils in absolute disgust, holding up their phones to capture the golden family man being dragged out of the gala like a common street criminal. Sienna and Chloe remain on their knees on the stage, weeping hysterically into their hands, completely ignored by the tactical team sweeping the room. Sienna's glamorous lifestyle has been legally eradicated by Damien, and now she is nothing more than a ruined spectator watching her murderous lover being hauled away to a federal penitentiary. But the absolute climax of the raid is reserved for my toxic in-laws. Arthur and Eleanor stand completely paralyzed near the base of the stage. My father-in-law's face is drained of all color, looking like a hollow shell of his former arrogant self. My mother-in-law is violently trembling, clutching her diamond necklace as if the jewels can somehow protect her from the catastrophic reality crashing down upon them. They are watching the man they proudly defended, the man they loudly championed over their own daughter's husband, being exposed as a monstrous federal criminal. 2 senior federal agents detach from the main squad and walk purposefully toward my in-laws. The agents do not look impressed by the sprawling estate or the lavish decorations. They look at Arthur and Eleanor with cold, bureaucratic authority. Arthur steps forward, raising his trembling hands, attempting to deploy his usual patriarchal charm. "Officers, there has been a profound misunderstanding. Julian is a visionary investor. We posted his federal bail just yesterday to prove his absolute innocence." The senior agent pulls a thick, heavily stamped legal document from his tactical vest and shoves it directly into Arthur's chest. "There is no misunderstanding, sir," the agent states with clinical detachment. Julian was operating a massive Ponzi scheme and actively laundering stolen capital to evade a violent criminal syndicate. Because you explicitly chose to use your primary residence, this estate, and your entire liquid retirement portfolio as collateral to secure a federal bail bond for a massive flight risk, you are now legally liable for the forfeiture of those assets. Eleanor lets out a high, piercing gasp, her knees visibly buckling. She grabs Arthur's arm to keep from collapsing onto the floor. The agent continues, his voice devoid of any pity. "The moment Julian attempted to flee this venue, he violated the terms of his federal release. Furthermore, the assets you used for his bail are now officially classified as proceeds tied to his criminal enterprise. The federal government is hereby seizing this property. You have exactly 24 hours to vacate the premises before the locks are changed." They freeze completely. The color drains from my father-in-law's face, leaving him a brittle shell of the arrogant patriarch who commanded this ballroom minutes ago. My mother-in-law collapses to her knees on the hardwood stage. Her expensive designer gown pools around her in the spilled water and crushed white roses. The reality of their financial devastation crashes down upon them. They leveraged their entire life to protect a murderer, and now they are left with absolutely nothing. The federal agents offer absolutely no sympathy. They simply step around my weeping mother-in-law, continuing their systematic lockdown of the estate. Arthur looks wildly around the ruined tent, searching for any remaining ally. But the wealthy elite have already turned their backs. The influential donors and corporate partners are frantically rushing toward the exits to distance themselves from a massive fraud scandal. The curated social empire my in-laws sacrificed me to protect dissolves before their eyes. They are left with zero liquidity, zero property, and a ruined reputation. They are completely and utterly bankrupt. I stand watching the destruction of their toxic legacy. Eleanor looks up, her face smeared with ruined makeup and terror. She sees me standing in the shadows, projecting an aura of absolute, unshakable power. The delusion that she can still control me finally shatters. Desperation strips away her remaining pride. She scrambles forward, reaching to grab the hem of my trousers. "Caleb, please," she begs, her voice cracking into a hysterical sob. "You have to help us. They are taking the house. They are taking everything we own. We will be homeless. We are your family. You have the offshore accounts. You have the money. You have to save us from this." Arthur steps forward, his hands trembling. He completely abandons his authoritative posture, adopting the begging tone of a ruined man. "Caleb, we made a terrible mistake. We were blinded by Julian. We did not understand the situation. Please do not leave us like this. We will do anything you ask. Just pay the forfeiture. Save the estate. We are a family." I look down at the two people who spent my entire marriage making me feel profoundly inadequate. I look at the mother-in-law who constantly mocked my career choices, and the father-in-law who eagerly tried to hand my only safe haven over to a murderer. I do not feel a single ounce of pity or obligation. The invisible chains of familial duty they used to bind me are completely severed. I tilt my head, staring into their desperate, terrified eyes with an expression of pure, lethal ice. I take a slow, deliberate step back, pulling my leg out of Eleanor's grasping hands. I look down at her, letting the absolute finality of my victory settle over the ruined stage. I repeat the exact, cruel words she used to dismiss me at the Manhattan Dining Club just days ago. I speak with surgical precision, letting every syllable cut straight to the bone. "I am just a spreadsheet drone, Eleanor," I say, my voice ringing with cold, crystal clarity over her frantic sobbing. "I do not understand your vision." Eleanor lets out a devastating, gut-wrenching wail, collapsing forward onto the wet floorboards. Arthur covers his face with his hands, weeping openly as the federal agents begin to herd them toward the main house for processing. I do not stay to watch them cry or offer them any false sense of hope. The financial transaction is officially closed, and I have successfully collected my ultimate debt. I slowly turn my back on the smoldering ashes of their completely ruined family dynasty. Damien steps forward from the shadows, offering me his hand. The brilliant corporate lawyer looks completely satisfied, his own vengeance perfectly executed. We walk together down the center aisle of the empty tent. Moving past the flashing red and blue emergency lights, we step into our waiting town car, leaving the chaos, the betrayal, and the toxicity permanently behind us. The heavy car doors close, shutting out the noise of the sirens, and we drive away into the cool, quiet night. The scene shifts completely. The dark, stormy chaos of the city fades into a brilliant golden morning. The early sun rises warm and bright over a serene, quiet countryside, miles away from the suburban mansions and high-rise law offices. The air smells like fresh pine needles and damp, rich earth. A small, rustic cottage sits nestled at the edge of a lush green valley, offering absolute peace. Grandmother Evelyn sits in a wooden rocking chair on the wraparound porch, wrapped in a thick, knitted shawl. She holds a steaming porcelain cup of chamomile tea. Her sharp, intelligent eyes scan the long gravel driveway. She watches with a slow, knowing smile as my car pulls up and comes to a gentle stop. I step out of the vehicle, breathing in the crisp, clean morning air. I am no longer wearing the heavy black armor of vengeance. I am dressed in comfortable, simple clothes. I look completely and profoundly at peace. The nightmare is officially over. The lethal threats have been systematically neutralized. The monsters who tried to destroy me are either locked in federal holding cells or left entirely destitute. I walk up the wooden steps of the cottage, feeling lighter than I have in 30 years. I pull up a wooden chair and sit directly beside the only family member who ever truly loved me unconditionally. Evelyn turns her head to look at me, her weathered face radiating intense pride and the quiet satisfaction of a prophecy perfectly fulfilled. The morning light catches the silver strands in her hair. "You did not go on the trip," she says softly, taking a slow sip from her delicate teacup. I lean back in my chair, pouring myself a fresh cup of tea from her porcelain pot. I look out over the endless, peaceful horizon, feeling the warm sun on my face. The weight of the past 5 years is entirely gone, leaving nothing but a wide-open future. "No, grandmother," I reply warmly, smiling back at her. "I just stayed back to take out the trash."